Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. My name's Stephanie and today we are going to be unboxing and spoiling Holo Taco's Advent box. This is their very first 12-day limited edition Advent box, which includes 12 limited edition products, including some mini polishes as well as other nail accessories. This box will be retailing for $119, and obviously don't continue watching the video if you don't want to be spoiled, but if you do want to see everything that's inside as well as hear my thoughts on everything at the end, then just stay tuned. First up, I wanted to show a closer look at the Advent box because it just looks so beautiful. It's a pretty matte kind of box, but it has this holographic detailing with the Holo Taco logo as well as the text on the back. Unlike previous collection boxes, there's no information as to what's inside to avoid spoilers, of course. And once we open the box, we can see more of the mini boxes inside. They are just so beautiful, again with that holographic detailing with the numbers. The majority of them are in here, but day 6 is going to be on the inside of the lid. And now getting into the individual boxes, again, this is your last chance to avoid spoilers, but the main design is on the front of the box that you see. The rest of it is pretty simple, but once we open it up, inside we can see that day 1 contains a black scattered holo nail file. So at first I thought this was just a plain nail file. It took me a second to realize that the black has this little holographic kind of scattered glitter effect. So it has a really pretty sparkle. And as far as the file goes, I unfortunately recently filed my nails, so I couldn't really test it out to its full potential, but it does have a very smooth, fine grit. Here's a little close-up of box number 2. It has a cute little house on the front, but again, the other sides are pretty simple and plain with the design. And this is the first of the 8 new mini nail polishes in the box. So the first new polish we have is called Silent Night, and it's described as a deep royal navy shade in a buildable crully formula. By the way, these mini bottles are 7 milliliters, and they all come with these paddle brushes, which was really exciting to see. But yeah, as far as the polish goes, it has that typical Holo Taco crully formula that I personally don't really love. I personally would call Holo Taco's crullies just very watered down creams. So you can see from that first coat, it was very streaky and unfortunately not self-leveling at all. But the good news is because the shade is so dark, it was pretty much fully opaque in just 2 coats. Here is box number 3 with another cute little house on the front, and inside of this one is another nail polish. It's a new topper called Gold Scattered Holo Taco, which I feel like is pretty self-explanatory as far as the finish goes. But yeah, it's just another clear base topper, but this time in a really beautiful gold color. It also had phenomenal coverage on the first coat. I found it to be very densely packed. Sometimes these scattered toppers can be a little on the sparse side, so I was impressed with the coverage on this one. I also loved how rainbowy this was. Next for day 4, we have another mini nail polish with another cute house on the front, and inside we have the shade Call Me Vixen, which is described as a deep cranberry jelly shimmer formula with scattered holo. I found the application for this to be really smooth. The formula was very, very pigmented despite being described as a jelly. I feel like on that first coat you barely get that jelly feel. It's just such a dark shade, super packed with the shimmer and the holo sparkle. So in 2 coats, I find that it is fully opaque. I can't imagine people needing a third for this shade, but it might depend on your nail length and application. And yeah, I really love this shade. I love that it's described as a cranberry because it does have this really bright red color to it due to the shimmer, which I feel like was hard to pick up on camera, so I included a little clip under flash. We get another mini nail polish on day 5, and this one is called In a Flurry, which is a pale winter blue frosted metal with scattered holo. If you aren't familiar with Holo Taco's frosted metal formula, or even just other brands' foily metallic finishes, unfortunately, this type of finish is just known to tarnish over time, meaning it'll look muddy and lose its original color and shine. So I just want to put that out there because I know a lot of people tend to not use their limited edition products. So make sure if you are getting this, you are using this shade just so it doesn't go bad. It had a phenomenal formula and a really beautiful bright blue color. As you might remember, day 6 was on the inside of the lid of the box, and it's a little envelope, so I'm sure you can guess what's inside. But if not, this contains the new Silver Star nail art sticker sheets. It's actually a 3-pack, and they come in these clear kind of little sheets. And as the name suggests, they are all these silver stars. So I actually really like that these do have the clear sheets because I feel like you can just layer it over your nail and see what size works best. For reference, here is the largest sticker against my pinky. I feel like it can barely fit, but a lot of the smaller ones look just fine. I wanted to see how easy it would be to use the stickers with my fingers, and it was obviously difficult, so make sure you go in with some tweezers. I'm using these super fine point ones from Deco Beauty, which also has this little rubber kind of stopper at the end to help push down the edges of the sticker. I don't use nail art stickers often, but I feel like these aren't as thin or pliable as other ones I have used, but they did still lay down flat, especially once I used that little rubber tool, and doing a layer of top coat really sealed everything in and it looks really smooth. On day 7, we get the second of the longer boxes, and inside this one is the new chrome cleanup brush. It has a little plastic sleeve, so once you discard that, you can see the brush itself, which is chrome. It doesn't feel super heavy, and unfortunately the cap doesn't clip on the end. The bristles felt nice. They felt a little stiff at first, but once you kind of loosen them up, they were easy to work with. I do appreciate that these are shorter bristles, but I'm not sure if I love the shape of the brush. Here is box number 8 with the little person ice skating. I think it's just so cute. And this one contains the new mini peppermint hand cream. It comes in a white container with green detailing for the logo and little motifs. And here on the back, you can pause it to look at the ingredients. I'm assuming it's the same as their regular hand cream, just scented in peppermint. The cap also has a Holo Taco logo, which I was kind of surprised to see that wasn't green. But anyway, I'm opening up the little seal here, which I found pretty easy to remove. I don't know how important this part of the review is, but I figured I could still share that. And yeah, as far as the hand cream itself goes, I've never tried Holo Taco's hand creams because I'm actually not much of a fan of hand creams. I know that might sound crazy. I just usually hate having that really greasy feeling, but for whatever reason, cuticle oil is fine. But I found that this one was really lightweight, a very silky kind of feeling. It absorbed relatively fast, where it didn't feel like it just evaporated into thin air, which is another pet peeve with hand creams. So yeah, definitely a nice light moisturizing feel and also a light peppermint smell. It's not super strong. Next, for box number 9, we are back to our mini polishes, and this one contains Pirouette Pink. This is a crushed holographic formula in a pale, warm pink shade. I thought the description was so interesting because I personally would say that the actual pink base of this is very cool toned, but it is warmed up due to that copper shimmer, which wasn't mentioned in the description, at least not the one that I have. So yeah, I'm not sure if it's just my eyes, but I see this as a crushed holo with shimmer kind of formula, and I wish that I liked the shade of pink a little bit more. It's definitely very icy due to the crushed holo, but it had a great formula, opaque in 2 coats. Then for box number 10, we have another mini polish, and it's actually another topper. This one is called Wreath Havoc Taco, which I think is such a hilarious name, but this is described as a multi-chrome foil flaky topper in a clear base that shifts from purple to teal and green. So as you can see, this had really great coverage on the first coat alone. I didn't have to swirl the brush around or dip back into the bottle at all. So I'm very grateful Holo Taco did stick with the paddle brushes for their minis because it definitely makes a difference in application. And yeah, here it is over a clear base and white and black. Then for day 11, we have another polish, and this one is called Ice Angel. It's described as a pale icy ivory shade in a linear holographic formula. So when I first pulled this one out of the box, I was the least excited about it because I'm not really a fan of silver linear holos. I know, kind of a hot take, but once I tried it on, I quickly changed my mind about it. I don't know why, I just thought it looked so flattering, especially on the first coat. I guess because it wasn't as icy or cool toned as it is on the second coat once you build it up to full opacity. So I think it can work either way. It is really even coverage, and the holo flare is really strong in this one. And here's a look at box number 12, which is our last one in the Advent box. I love this one so much because it has a pink house with a little cat in the window as well as the Christmas tree. But inside of this one is another topper. This one is called Diamond Dasher Taco. It's described as a party-style topper with mixed holographic glitters in scattered, hex, and diamond shapes. As you can see, this provides really great coverage. I feel like it's so densely packed with all these glitters where it's not super base heavy, but still sparse enough to use as a topper. And it just looks so fun. I love the different size glitters in here. I'm not usually a fan of diamond glitters, but I thought they really worked in this one. Moving on to comparisons, we're starting with Silent Night, and I first pulled out ILNP's Midnight Ink from the Thorns collection, which is a very dark blue jelly, but it's so dark it basically looks black on the nail, so I would say it's even darker than Silent Night, and also with more of a teal undertone. The closer shade, I think, is Cracked Polish's Midnight Phase, which is more of that similar navy midnight blue kind of color. I'm showing 2 coats of each here, and they're both very close. Next, for Gold Scattered Holo Taco, I knew I had to show this next to Cirque Polish's Lumière and Cracked Polish's Truly Outrageous, both of which are other gold scattered holos in my collection. Unfortunately, the Cracked is no longer around, but the good news is that I would say the Holo Taco is the closest to that one. Cirque's looks to be a little bit more dainty or finely milled, so I feel like it doesn't look as hollow as the other two, but the Cracked is a little bit more base heavy than Holo Taco. So out of all of these, I would say Holo Taco has the most strong rainbow sparkle. Next, for Call Me Vixen, here it is next to Misfire, which is another deep, sparkly red from Holo Taco. That one does have more of a micro glitter and flaky kind of formula as opposed to the shimmer and dainty holo in Call Me Vixen, but also the color is a little bit more brown tone in Misfire. For some other reds, here are some bottle comparisons for Holo Taco's Orbite Me and Mooncat's Heart on a Platter, both of which are totally different finishes. Orbite Me is the crushed holo, Mooncat is a linear holo, which is also very close to Crimson Void from Holo Taco, so neither of these compare to Call Me Vixen. Great news though, I have a dupe, and that is ILNP's Carrie. These both are deep red bases with a brighter red shimmer and a dainty scattered holo. Next, for In a Flurry, here it is next to Frostlight, which is one of the OG kind of holiday glitters. I think I would say that these have nearly the exact same shade of blue base. Maybe it's a little bit lighter or brighter in Frostlight, but the main difference is that that is a true glitter formula, while In a Flurry has those silver metallic flakes. So I thought maybe if I add a silver flaky topper on top, I can kind of recreate the vibes, and it's pretty close. Not an exact dupe by any means, but you know, very similar vibes. Here's some quick bottle comparisons to some other icy sort of blues in my collection. So I have ILNP's Snowkissed, which is more of a true metallic. There is some hollow sparkle as well, but no flakies. And for Mooncat, while it does have flakies, those are iridescent, and it's also a different shade of blue, so definitely not dupes. To nobody's surprise, In a Flurry is nearly an exact dupe for Mooncat's Star Destroyer. I would just say that In a Flurry is a little bit more blue. Next for Pirouette Pink, this actually really reminded me of Cirque's Plush Suede, which is a different finish, being more of a shimmer, crelly, and with a dainty holo, but I would say they look more similar in the bottle than they do on the nail, because once on the nail, you can see that the holo taco is much lighter and more icy with the silver flakies. So I thought maybe if I do a layer of a flaky topper, it can kind of recreate the crushed holo look, but one layer is definitely not enough. Next for Wreath Havoc Taco, here it is next to Fallen Flake Taco, which is their other multi-chrome flaky but in a different colorway. And the only other multi-chrome flake topper that I have is Mooncat's Nirvana Pro X, which has a somewhat similar color combination, but it's more pink heavy head on. Next for Ice Angel, this immediately reminded me of 50 Shades of Griege, which is another neutral kind of linear holo, but that one has a bit of a warmer undertone, if that makes sense. I feel like it's kind of hard to see underneath the holo, but once I move my nail away from the lighting, you can see that it is a little bit deeper and warmer. I unfortunately don't have Circuit Breaker or another silver linear holo, but I would imagine Ice Angel would be the in-between of those two. This did also kind of remind me of Sugar Rush, which as of right now I think is still available on the website, but it is being retired, hence the coffin emoji. But yeah, that's a white crushed holo, so it is a different finish, and on the nail it does look a little bit brighter. It also has this sort of golden shimmer as well, which I feel like looks kind of similar to Ice Angel. And to try to recreate it, I figured I could do 2 coats of Glazed Over as well as 2 coats of Cirque We Trippy, which is a linear holo topper, but that didn't really work out. And lastly, for Diamond Dasher Taco, the closest that I had to this was Prism Parade's Cybernetic, which is a large shard kind of silver holographic topper. So the shapes in that are a lot more irregular compared to the diamonds and hexes in Holo Taco, but it kind of has a similar vibe. So that wraps up Holo Taco's first Advent box. As always, I can't wait to hear what you think of this release because I have some mixed thoughts. Overall, I do think it is a really nice, like beautiful box. It just feels so high quality, just giving that luxury kind of experience that I really like from Holo Taco. It's like when they would do collection boxes for some of their releases before, but just, you know, a little bit more upgraded. And so I loved that, you know, packaging, all of that. It just feels really nice and looks and makes for a great gift in my opinion. And I'm generally happy with the products inside as far as the polishes go. They are beautiful, they're great quality, you know, the usual with what you would expect, but my main gripe is that they are limited edition. I'm hoping that Holo Taco will bring back some of these shades in the future, but I know that can also be like an annoying thing where why make it limited edition in the first place? But it kind of makes sense where at least, you know, this is a whole box, right? Like you're just getting this one thing. And even for the other products in there, they weren't bad, you know, like they're nice. I can see though how a lot of people might not think they are worth it for the price, because chances are if you are already a fan of Holo Taco or you're like a veteran nail enthusiast, you probably already have most of these products. The only new thing really are the polishes. So I can see how that just wouldn't be worth it to pick up the box just for the polishes, but I can see how this would make a really great gift for anybody who's a newer Holo Taco fan. But yeah, it is definitely a pricey thing. I feel like a lot of Advent boxes are. That's just kind of the nature of them. And I'm definitely surprised to see that Holo Taco even came out with an Advent box, just because the only other experience I've had with Advent boxes were with Cirque back when they used to do them years ago. I think last year was the first year that they stopped doing them. And I'm pretty sure it's because a lot of the community feedback was just pretty negative, you know, because it just felt like very overpriced for having mini polishes and these nail accessories that, you know, a lot of people already had. So I'm wondering if this is going to be like a new thing for Holo Taco moving forward, if they are going to continue this Advent box route, because I can't imagine that a lot of people will be excited to see another one next year. Like it's a nice, fun, special thing, but it can also be really overdone. one. But what I will say is that in favor of Holo Taco, like I do appreciate that they did have like all new kind of products. I mean, I know that they already sell a crystal file and like the hand lotion, but at least everything that's in here is new specifically for this box, if that makes sense. Because from what I remember with Cirque, they didn't really come out with like new polishes. They just had minis of a lot of their existing catalog. And maybe if they did have some limited edition charms or cuticle oils, they did eventually bring those back in the future. So it wasn't really limited in that way. So at least between the two, I kind of like the Holo Taco one a little bit more. It seems more worth it in my opinion, but I know that's just totally subjective, of course. So I would love to hear your thoughts down below so we can chat about it. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!